Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Oh, happy Monday. So we celebrated the 126th anniversary of Mary Curry discovering polonium-210, and as part of the celebration, I met yet another distant cousin of Mary Curry. She's already taken, but we're good friends, so that's good. I want to update everybody on my situation as of late. I've been making a lot of art out of bismuth and also the Mondrian art squares, and I recently there was an art event at the library involving painting, and that was good to network with other people as well. I want to talk about two things in particular, though. Number one, I tried to make a live stream a couple days ago about why I'm so repulsed by all this mandatory return to the office. Unfortunately, my webcam kind of malfunctioned and the video never went up. And I want to talk about another girl that I met. We'll call her Kelly because of Kelly Clarkson. And let's start with the quiet quitting issue. So let's get it straight. I work at the office. I love it because I love all of my students. But there is one aspect of return to the office work that I could do better at, but at the same time, I know this is a barrier for a lot of people, and I know that we're losing a lot of talent by forcing people to return to the office. Something happened this past weekend that really showed me why we shouldn't return to the office. So I'm living in an Airbnb, and I got into some conflict with one of my roommates, and it made me think about if I want to renew this Airbnb at the end of the month. And it prompted me to go look at my previous living arrangements to see about moving back. I moved out of another apartment last winter because they were going to do some renovations. I have chemical sensitivities, so I wanted to move out of that, and they wanted more space to work on anyway, so that's when I moved out, and I said, I'll think about moving back here. I moved out in November, December. It was really nice to live in the car at the time. Here in Phoenix, Arizona, the winter times were really nice to live in the car, and that would allow me to save up some money to buy bismuth, obviously, and so I didn't really think about housing until March, if you could believe it, and then I moved a few other places before here, and so I was going to call my previous landlord. Unfortunately, I lost her phone number and email address because it was on an Airbnb account on a different department at school. So I decided to drive by her place and knock on the door to see if I could talk to them. They weren't home. And I went out for lunch, I came back, they still weren't home, so I decided to leave a note on the door. And as I'm doing that, I'm away from home, so I'm texting my roommate to try to rectify things, and it turned out really well. Not only did I leave a beautiful note on the door, they still haven't called me, but I felt very confident with the note. It was Sunday today, Saturday, today's Monday, so maybe I'll hear from them soon. If I don't, I'm not going to be too upset either. But I rectified things with my roommate, and at the same time, I had a problem student who was trying to call me nonstop, threatening to drop the course and all that because he couldn't install some software, and I also rectified that situation. Now, all of these conversations happen remotely. I'm very fortunate when I knocked on the door of my previous landlord, she wasn't home because I was already upset with the situation with my roommate. I was already struggling with thinking about how to respond to that student who was harassing me about how badly I'm doing with the class and all that. And what I really loved is having time and distance between myself and all of these problems. Time and distance really do wonders in my problem solving. I can't tell you how many times I go up to somebody and I have a disagreement, or not even a disagreement, just any sort of conversation. I walk out of there, I should have said that. Can't tell you how many times I do that. Depending on who it is, if it's a boss that knows my little quirks, I might even just make a U-turn and go back to the boss's office. hey, let's clarify something. Sometimes my biggest pet peeve is talking to people who have a habit of interrupting. Especially my mom. I can't talk to her anymore because she's addicted to interrupting people. And when you're talking to her, you have a story, A, B, C, D, E, and you're worried you're going to say A, B, C and be interrupted. And especially if it's a story that could easily be misconstrued if it's heard halfway, right? So before I talk to a serial interrupter like that, you end up having to think, how do I lay out this story so that I can stop at any moment, right? And you end up spending a lot of energy doing that rather than actually negotiating for stuff you want, right? And that's why I really despise working in the office. There's too much conflict, and it invites too much of this busy work rather than actual work, right? Imagine the person who was destined to find chemical element 119 ends up not finding it because they're too busy worrying about these little details, right? I don't care how work gets done, right? At the end of the day, you know, when I sell my art at the consignment shop or on my own, do you think any of my buyers care how this art got done, right? Now I gotta be careful though, because a lot of people, they actually do care, because if they think it's too easy for you or comes naturally for you, they don't want to pay. I ran into this problem as a tutor. I was tutoring a calculus, a student in AP calculus, and I was negotiating with the dad. He wanted me to tutor the kid for, I think, 4 days. He had 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays available. Now on the 3rd day, after we had finished and his dad came by, he listened to the last couple of minutes of that tutoring. He says, I think my son got what he needs. Thank you so much. I don't think we need to meet tomorrow. And I shook his hand. I was like, well, that's very good. Good luck on the exam. But as I said that, I'm thinking to myself, did I hear what I just heard? I got fired because I did too good of a job, right? I lost out on whatever so basically I got a 25% pay cut for going 100% beyond what, right? And that just didn't seem right. And I gotta be careful when I sell my art, right? That people don't think it comes too easy, right? You know, it's just sad that our work has to look like that. If it's too easy, you don't have to commute to the office. Oh, we don't want to pay you anymore, right? That's the feeling I get about the whole return to the office policy, right? Imagine I could wave a magic wand and get the student to instantly learn calculus, right? I guarantee you parents will not want to pay. But why not? They get what they need. They save all this time, right? The drive to my office or wherever they're getting the tutoring. They save time. They save hassle. They learn everything, and it works wonders for their career. But they don't want to pay because they're not seeing something tangible, right? See, I wish work were about the results, right? Do we care how something came to be, right? Imagine instead of being a really good artist, somehow I could magically just make this stuff appear, right? Teleport to my place, right? I guarantee you if I could do that, nobody would want to pay for my art, right? It's kind of like, you know, we all like to say getting there is half the fun when we take our vacation, right? With work, it's the other way around, right? The end result is everything, right? Getting there is nothing, right? In fact, getting there is just a waste of time and money and energy and whatever, right? Anyway, so I met Kelly, we'll call her Kelly because of Kelly Clarkson, at a board game meetup, and she seems to be at the same wavelength as me about this work stuff, and she recently quit her job over stuff just like that, and has a better job lined up now. And what I really love about her is that she also shares the kind of sentiment of having a close non-romantic friend, right? Now, one thing I gotta be careful about, part of the reason I went out to go meet Kelly is that a lot of workplaces, people really love to take advantage of those who are alone for some reason, right? So I talked about in my previous job, a lot of times people think that I'm available all the time because I don't have any friends. And I gotta be careful. I also have to be careful not to let my colleagues know that I'm kind of desperate to make friends. Oh my God, people will take advantage of that, right? That's why I wanted to move out of the United States, right? I can't imagine in Asian culture or Eastern European culture that people take advantage of their lonely colleagues, right? They're more of a social group, right? And during the pandemic, a lot of people just knew that I was desperate to network with people, and instead of helping me network with other people, they used that as an opportunity to suck all the living out of me, and I gotta be careful about that. So I'm glad we have each other. I think Kelly is in a similar boat. I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'm waiting for some bismuth. I've been redeeming my US dollars, which are still backed by zinc, and making art out of that as well. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.